How does a 22-year-old from Johannesburg turn a 15-second dance into a Grammy and then watch one interview and a 3-word meme shake the whole story? Tyla didn't just drop a song. She dropped a blueprint for modern fame. Fast, glossy, and fragile. And the part that came next? That's where it gets messy. It didn't just sound good, it moved. Water arrived with that rubber band amapiano bounce, the kind of groove that shakes your shoulders before your brain even clocks the melody. One tight 8 count, a clean hip isolation, a glide, then that cheeky pour moment, and suddenly, timelines were teaching each other choreography in living rooms, locker rooms, and parking lots. The chorus was engineered for replay. Quick, breathy lines you can lip with a grin and a wink. The kind of hook that sticks to your day like glitter. What made it dangerous, in the best way, was how learnable it was. Not a pro-only routine, not a one-and-done trend. Short, loopable, camera-friendly. You could nail the basics in 15 seconds and still come back to refine the micro details. The tilt, the timing, the hold on beat 4. That's the secret sauce of a viral dance. Simple enough to try, layered enough to chase. Duets stacked, stitches multiplied, tutorials birthed other tutorials, and every version, slow, sped up, chopped, reverbed, created a new on-ramp for someone else to join. Clubs picked it up because the low end is undeniable. DJs didn't need a transition. The crowd did it for them with the first bass knock. Then came the spillover. Gym speakers, pep rallies, fashion show walkthroughs, wedding receptions where aunties and Gen Z cousins somehow found the same rhythm. Editorial playlists threw it high. Shorts, Reels, and TikTok kept it airborne. The song became an ecosystem. Sound, movement, attitude, where even a 2-second head turn felt like part of the choreography. And visually, Tyla understood the assignment. Clean lines, glossy textures, zero wasted motion. She sold the moment without overselling it, letting the groove lead and the camera follow. That restraint reads as confidence on screen, not watch me work, but catch me if you can. It's modern pop performance, cool first, then fireworks. The reward? Not just numbers, but validation. Stages got bigger, the mic stands got heavier, then the capstone, history-making recognition at the top of the year, cemented what the feeds had already decided. This wasn't a fluke. It was a flag planted. Water wasn't a song with a dance. It was a dance that turned into a world. Industry plant? People love that phrase, but receipts matter. Viral moments don't show the years of unglamorous repetition. Small rooms with bad monitors, 24 people and a fog machine that won't quit. Cameras strapped to milk crates so every rehearsal can be reviewed like game tape. Before Water ever touched your feed, Tyla signed with a major in 2021. Then did what new artists actually do. Writing camps, demo ping pong, and the slow science of finding your pocket so the song fits like skin instead of costume. The groundwork looked like discipline, not destiny. Hooks drafted in voice notes at 2 a.m., melodies that felt good in the shower but had to survive the studio, and a live set shaved down to the parts that make strangers lean forward. She learned crowd math, when to hold eye contact, when to step back and let the drums breathe, because stages are classrooms if you're paying attention. Socials weren't random either. Snippets posted, trimmed, reposted, captions tightened, angles tested. If the first 3 seconds didn't catch, she rebuilt the first 3 seconds. That's not a shortcut, that's craft. Then came the reps that don't trend but change everything. Opening slots where most people came for the headliner but left remembering the opener's name. Those runs are boot camp. Early call times, late buses, sore knees, new cities, same checklist. You learn how to protect your voice, how to reset after a shaky note, how to make a cavernous arena feel like a tight club. By the time Water hit, she wasn't guessing how to perform it. She had a muscle memory plan for the first snare, the first camera pan, the first roar. Behind the scenes, the team got sharper too. Wardrobe found silhouettes that move on beat without stealing the beat. Choreography favored clean geometry over chaos, so casual dancers could mirror the shapes and feel like they nailed it. Producers carved out space in the mix for that low-end amapiano thump without drowning the vocal, because if you want a challenge to spread, the groove has to be undeniable on a phone speaker and a festival rig. So, no, the launch didn't fall from the sky. It was built, piece by piece, test by test, until the day the pieces clicked and looked effortless. That's the part most people miss. Effortlessness is expensive. Then came a radio room curveball, a Breakfast Club segment where a question about identity collided with a cultural landmine. Tyla's team tried to steer it away. Can we not? But the clip traveled anyway, without the footnotes South Africans grow up with. In South Africa, colored is a specific community and identity. In the US, that word lands with a very different, painful history. The internet demanded a verdict. She posted further clarifications about identifying as both Black and colored, depending on context. What should have been a nuanced conversation turned into a hot take brawl, and the timeline did what the timeline does. On Stream with Kai Cenat, a question became a moment became a meme, and 3 words, "we friends though," got louder than the music. Funny? For some, very. But meme fame is a double-edged blade. It can add fuel to a fire or burn through an artist's oxygen. Tyla leaned into humor, but the clip kept mutating, remixing, and ricocheting across feeds. That's the cost of omnipresence. You don't get to choose which version of you goes viral. With the calendar stacked and the spotlight hottest, Tyla hit pause. Tour dates shelved, a few festival slots gone, and an injury that wouldn't negotiate with momentum. That's the part fame never posts. Bodies have limits, and the invoice comes due, whether the charts are rising or not. Pushing through might win a weekend, it can cost a career. The ripple effects were instant. Promoters scramble, fans juggle refunds and rain checks, dancers and bandmates rework plans. And online, the algorithm does what algorithms do: cool off the feed the second you stop feeding it. Some people meet that with empathy. Others turn it into a scoreboard. Fall off, over, all the usual lazy takes. But live music is a contact sport. Vocals need rest. Joints need rehab. Nerves settle on their own timeline, not a release schedule. Behind the curtain, the boring, important work starts. Physio, breath control drills, rebuilding stamina without re-injury, low-impact rehearsals to keep the choreography in the muscles, minus the landings that inflame everything. On the content side, you ration what you have. Studio clips, acoustic snippets, features in the vault. You give the feed just enough oxygen without pretending the stage grind is happening when it isn't. There's a bigger truth here the crowd rarely sees. Longevity beats urgency. A week of headlines isn't worth a year of scar tissue. The people who last learn to disappoint today so they can deliver tomorrow. It isn't glamorous. It is grown. This is where whispers get louder than waveforms. When a rollout looks too tidy, clean visuals, choreography that lands on the first scroll, press lined up like dominoes, the internet reaches for a label: industry plant. It's a catchy accusation. It also collapses a lot of boring, very real music biz mechanics into one spooky word. Here's the unglamorous version. A&R hears a spark. Maybe it's an early single, maybe it's a live clip, maybe it's a 12-second rehearsal on a tiled floor that won't die on reels. Meetings happen. A development plan forms. Writing camps, beat folders, key changes to fit the pocket, choreo drafted to hit the hook without stealing oxygen from the vocal. Wardrobe trims shapes that photograph clean and move cleaner. Social cuts are tested. First 3 seconds rebuilt again and again until the thumb physically hesitates. That's not a conspiracy. That's craft plus repetition. Then, if the early signs pop, pre-saves climbing, Shazam spikes after club spins, UGC doubling week to week, a campaign unlocks. Playlisting pitches go out, influencers get the sound, press days stack, a late night look gets discussed. If the song is already catching fire online, the machine doesn't light it. It fans it, the way labels have always fanned radio records. From the outside, that fanning looks like instant magic. From the inside, It's calendars, call sheets, and 100 micro decisions designed to keep attention from leaking. So why do people still say plant? Because speed feels suspicious. Because a global push compresses years of work into 1 month of everybody, everywhere, all at once. And because it's easier to believe a puppet master than to accept that timing, taste, and tech sometimes line up and hand someone a perfect runway. Do darker claims float around? Of course. Corners of the web will always swear there's a shadow contract or some hidden puppet string. But allegations aren't evidence. The public on-record trail here still looks like the modern pop pipeline. Early label interest, live reps, a learnable dance that travels, and a professional campaign that knows exactly how to pour gas on a spark. Planned isn't planted. Polished isn't proof. There's another piece people ignore. Community. Amapiano didn't appear out of thin air. It arrived with dancers, DJs, and editors who already knew how to translate that bounce for phones and floors. When a song lands inside a pre-existing culture of movement, the spread is faster by default. That acceleration can read like manufactured. It can also be what happens when a scene finally gets a global microphone. So, yes, there's a system, there's money, there's choreography built to loop. But there's also a vocalist hitting pitch under pressure, a team choosing restraint over chaos on camera, and a schedule that would fold most people in a week. If you want to see a plant, you'll find one. If you want to see a plan, you'll find that too. The chorus that ruled TikTok came with a wink. Suggestive? Definitely. Copyable by younger fans? Obviously, that's how trends work. Parents raised eyebrows, think pieces asked where the line should be. Tyla has framed her work as culture in motion. Amapiano swagger folded into pop hooks, and the dance roots back that up. There's tension here. Expression versus influence, adult themes versus imitative audiences. That tension isn't new. It just moves faster when every chorus is a challenge. Stats don't lie. The self-titled album debuted at number 24 on the Billboard 200, moving roughly approximately 23 to 24K first-week units. A strong U.S. opening for a debut from a South African pop act, with additional top placements across R&B and world albums. Numbers became narrative fuel. Fans called it a win. Critics said wait and see. Both things can be true. Then came the televised stamp. At the 2024 MTV VMAs, Tyla took Best Afrobeats for Water. On stage, she called the moment special but bittersweet, pointing out how African artists often get lumped under one umbrella even when the sound, amapiano versus Afrobeats, isn't the same. The applause was loud, the discourse was louder. Awards crown you, but they also crystallize debates about genre, gatekeeping, and who gets to name the thing you made. A few months earlier, the industry had already handed her a headline, first ever Grammy for Best African Music Performance. That wasn't just a trophy, it was a category being born on live TV, proof that the pipeline she rides is now part of the mainstream map. Year-end receipts kept stacking. In the US, Water closed 2024 as the #1 track on Billboard's Afrobeats Songs year-end list, with Tyla finishing as the #1 Afrobeats artist. More data for the impact over noise side of the argument. And yet, trophies never silence timelines. Some viewers clipped her acceptance, others nitpicked the tone, and the genre label talk kept spinning. That's the paradox of winning big in the feed era. Every milestone doubles as a microscope. You get the moon person, the gramophone, the chart line, and a comment section determined to decide what it all really means. Here's the part the timeline skips. None of this is guaranteed. Not the virality, not the goodwill, not the next hit. Tyla's arc is the modern playbook. Global sound, platform power, brand precision, and the modern warning label. A meme will crown you, and a moment will test you. The question isn't whether she's an industry plant or a miracle of timing. It's simpler. Who writes the headline? The label, the algorithm, or the audience hitting replay? Because if there's one thing this era proves, it's that pop stardom is a negotiation. And it only takes one hook to start it again.